Welcome back to another episode of Ball or Nothing, presented to you by our very good friends at AAMI. I'm Nick. I'm riding solo today because Freddie's out there covering the NBA, but that's okay. I've got a very special guest joining us today, four-time AFL Premiership player for the Hawthorn Hawks, a team that I'm a fan of, Mr. Jarryd Roughead. Welcome, Ruffy, to Ball or Nothing. I'm a Hawks fan, as you can see by the shoes, so it's a huge honour for me to have you on here. We want to talk a little bit NBA with you, though. How much of the NBA playoffs have you been watching so far?
Well, so far I've nearly watched every game. When we're not training or at the club, I'm at home looking after my new 14-week-old daughter and watching the playoffs, which is good.
Well, congratulations on the newborn. And where did this love for basketball come from?
Being a country kid, that's all we played in the bush, footy and basketball. I was lucky enough to play a little bit of representatives basketball, I guess. Played for Vic Country and played a bit of Friday night Metro League basketball, I guess, and got to the stage where I was about 16 and I was travelling to Melbourne 3 times a week, and it probably became a bit too much for a 15, 16-year-old kid, and obviously footy was another love, and that took over. And obviously being red hair and fair skin and only 6'4", I understand that I'm probably not going to have the athleticism to keep going with basketball as well.
Who are some of the other sort of like unsung AFL players that are really good basketball players?
Well, Treloar, I know Treloar's got about 50 different jerseys that he rotates through around summertime. You got Jack Watts, who I believe was they were thinking that they were going to build either the Rio or the Tokyo Boomers team around him. So when you hear stories like that, you think it's he must go all right too. So I mean, you have a look at across the league. There's that many guys that get to NBL games, and you see in the off season through their social media that a lot of players get to NBA games, and some lucky enough have been through different sites, practice facilities, and seen what they do, and just tried to get a little bit a different edge, I guess, going into their next season of AFL footy.
I feel like the Australians this year really took sort of a step forward and made themselves known as more than just role players. What's your thoughts on that and how the Aussies have done this year in the league?
Oh, well, it's huge. You only have to look at what's happened the last couple of years with, I think it's 4 Aussies winning championships, and then to see, nearly 8 Aussies, and most of them competing in the playoffs this year. It shows that, one, they've got good character and teams want to have Aussies on their team, but 2, they're contributing a lot more than what, as you said, just role players do. You see Joe having a standout year. Paddy started most of the year, and even when you've got Baines on a new side after being at Detroit and San Antonio, he's just fitted into Boston like no other would, really. He's just contributed that well, and it's good to see the Aussies are still playing well.
Everyone talks about like our golden era was, when Gaze and all those boys played. This is the golden era, right? This is the new golden era of Australian basketball.
Oh, for sure. And you only have to, if you were back in Australia, you'd see, a lot of kids that either do Auskick or play basketball, and a lot of kids now are saying that they'd like to play maybe for Hawthorn, but at the same time they want to play for the Philadelphia 76ers. And that's what impact a guy like Ben Simmons can have, and he's only played 12 months of basketball in the NBA. It's amazing to see what could happen over the next couple of years with what we've got coming through, but with what's there as well.
Everyone's talking about the Ben Simmons rookie debate. Is he a rookie? Who's going to be the rookie of the year? Donovan Mitchell, Ben Simmons. I know, I've got a feeling what your answer is going to be, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Who's the rookie of the year?
Well, if Joe's watching this, he'll probably go nuts because he'd like to think he's backing his teammate. But when you've got an Aussie that's playing and a chance to win rookie of the year, let's give it to an Aussie, eh?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm with you 100% on that. All right, so now let's talk a hypothetical, right? 2-on-2 game. You and Joey versus Petrarca and Simmons. Who wins? And why?
Oh, they do, just because of pure athletically. And mind you, they're a bit young, so we're both 30 plus now. So when you think like that, it's you kind of got to give it up to these young kids now.
What do you think? I mean, obviously you hear the jokes about, people make about Joey. Oh, he looks like a school teacher, but he'll drop, 30 points on you. What does he think about those kind of jokes?
Oh, I think he enjoys it because that's how he's recognised. But at the same time, it's like a quiet assassin. They just think, look at this guy, he's going to be no good at basketball. And as you said, you only have to look at game 2 of that Houston series. He comes out and drops 27 in Houston.
AFL playing against the old captain in Brisbane last week. What was that like?
Yeah, it didn't feel quite right, I guess. I've played against some other teammates that have swapped clubs, but when it's Luke Hodge, who's arguably going to be the best Hawthorn player ever, it just doesn't feel right. And I think as a Hawthorn fan, you'd agree, it's not right.
It's like, you know, watching Michael Jordan in a Wizards jersey, right?
Yeah, it shouldn't have happened, and it doesn't look quite right.
Look, I know you're a Knicks fan, so I'm going to borrow a Knicks phrase for this one here. Once a Hawk, always a Hawk. Hodgie will always be a Hawk. And same with Sammy Mitchell and the other boys that have left the club as well. So, Ruffy, again, thank you very much for your time. Been a pleasure chatting to you. All the best for the rest of the season, and hopefully some of your predictions come true.
Thank you very much for having me. Love the show.
That's all we've got time for, unfortunately, in this episode of Ball or Nothing, presented to you by AAMI. I could have sat there talking to Ruffy all day, but unfortunately we have to end it right there. We'll be back for another episode of Ball or Nothing shortly. Make sure you stay tuned to ESPN for all your NBA playoff action. Freddie will be back next episode. I'll be here. I'm Nick.
All I wanna do is ball. When I walk up in the mall.